Hi, everyone. Today I am addressing a growing threat that affects not only seniors, but also everybody who is living alone, namely AI-driven scams. These days, scammers are using advanced technology to mimic the voices of our loved ones, and they are making it pretty hard to tell what's real and what's not. And if you are living alone, it can be even more challenging because you have nobody surrounding you who could give you any advice. That's why I will be sharing some essential tips in this video, like how to verify calls with a secret code word, like how to recognize urgent scam tactics, and how to spot red flags. These strategies will help you stay safe and protect yourself from these sophisticated scams. So let's dive in and learn how to safeguard ourselves against these threats. Hi, I am Eva. I am a Gen X and I live in Spain. I am surrounded by nature and the animals I have saved in my non-profit rescue center, the Whispering Rescue Ranch. If you like what you see in here, please leave me a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment because I love to read your comments and it gives a real sense of community. First of all, verify the caller. Whenever you are receiving an unexpected call, especially one that says it's urgent, make sure to verify the call. How do you do that? Hang up and call that number back so that you can verify that the number is actually theirs. Because you know, scammers, they can spoof telephone numbers, making it seem as it is your daughter or your granddaughter or your grandson calling you, when in fact it's not them at all. Use a code word. Make sure to connect with your family and have a code word. You want to be sure that whenever there is a scammer using AI voices, pretending it to be a family member of yours, you want to be able to ask them, hey, what's the code word between us? And if they cannot answer that code word, you know it is in fact not your family member that is calling you, that is asking for help, but it is a scammer. Resist urgency. Scammers often create a false sense of urgency, and they are claiming that immediate action is required, like transferring money or providing personal information. Please resist this urgency. You need some time to breathe, think, and evaluate the situation. And yes, I have seen that video on YouTube about grandparents being scammed, that their grandson was so-called being picked up and he would be thrown in jail if they would not pay so much. It was fake. They hadn't seen their grandson in months. And so they believed what was said. Don't fall for emergency situations. Hang up, connect with your family, and check it out. Never share personal information. It doesn't matter who calls you. You never want to share personal information like your social security number, like bank account details or passwords. You should never share them unless you know exactly who it is. And again, in this case, I would talk about using your code word. And if it's not your family, if it's not those closest to you, you should never give that information to them. Now, I can honestly tell you that in my business, people can buy things through my website, and often about 70% of them are from the USA buying from me here in Spain. And often when they are not able to bring in their bank account information or their credit card details in the shop, they would ask me, hey, Eva, let me give it to you. I trust you. And you'll do it for me. And I always say, no, I'm sorry. I cannot do that. Well, I'm not a scammer, that's for sure. But nevertheless, I would never would want them take the risk of sharing in an email their credit card details to me with their password for me to bring it into the shop so they can get what they wanted to buy. I'm not doing that. On top of that, it's not legal. So I would never do it. But scammers, they can change the voice. They can pretend they are your grandson. They can pretend they are your best friends. Who got your code word? Well, ask for the code word. Scammers won't be able to give it. So don't share your personal information. Don't share your bank account details. Don't share your passwords with anybody on the phone that does not have your code word. Beware of the caller ID spoofing. What do I mean with that? Well, you know, scammers can make it look as if it's the number of your daughter, for example, calling you, and then using the AI voice of your daughter. How do they do that? It's easy. They have called your daughter before, the same day, the day before, a week before. And if your daughter or your son, it doesn't matter who, but if that person has been talking, answering simple questions for another reason, if they have 30 seconds of their voice, they can use an AI voice, changing it to the voice of the person that you thought you could trust, and they will be asking that question or those questions with that AI voice. So even if it's the phone number of your friend or your daughter or your son showing on screen on your phone, it doesn't mean it's them. These days, you can't trust that anymore. So again, it's not because the number is appearing that it will be your son, your daughter, or your best friend on the other side of the line. So watch out what you're saying. And ask some personal questions that a scammer would not know. I was just thinking of that because I was saying, hey, I'm talking to friends all the time. Maybe I should ask some personal questions to find out if it's them. Anyways, I have not been scammed, so I still feel safe at this moment. Ask for verification. If a caller claims to be from an official agency or an organization, then ask for verification. Ask for a reference number, hang up, call back with that organization or that official agency, and find out if it was really them calling you. Use call blocking features. Nowadays, many phones have features that allow the users to block numbers from unknown or suspicious sources. Enable these features on your phones to avoid getting scam calls. And of course, some will still get through you, but nevertheless, it will be at least a lot less than usual. Educate yourself about AI voice cloning. Like I said before, the AI technology can clone voices. It just needs a few seconds of the voice to be able to clone it and then say any word possible with that voice. So you need to be up to date with what technology can do these days to avoid getting scammed and to be able to protect yourself as much as possible. Another possibility is to register yourself on the Do Not Call list. As you will know, there is a national Do Not Call registry, and it's a free service. It gives you the possibility to get on that list and to reduce the number of telemarketing calls that you will get. For sure, there will be still some calls coming in, but it will be largely reduced. And at the same time, that can then reduce the chances of you being scammed. Talk to the ones you trust. Before making any payments, before sharing any personal information, please connect with a loved one, connect with somebody you trust, and ask their advice. Never believe that it is, you need to pay now or something is going to happen. Verify if the reason you have to pay is correct. Verify if it's true that your family member is in trouble. It will never be a case of you have to pay now or they die within 10 minutes. You have the time to verify with a loved one, with a friend. Don't start making payments or sharing personal information without consulting somebody you trust. Then we also have the two-factor authentication. In short, it's the 2FA. Two-factor authentication that adds an extra layer of protection, of security to your online accounts, because it is requiring two forms of authentication. I have that with my bank accounts. I have that with any payment I would make online, with anything that I am buying online. I always use the 2FA. And that also, again, reduces the chance that I'm being scammed. You can also use the two-factor authentication with your personal and sensitive information to avoid it, that they can try and steal it. Let's think of passwords. Be skeptical of unsolicited calls. Whenever you get a call that you are not expecting, be skeptical. And be even more skeptical if they're asking for money or personal details. It's always better to be cautious and to verify the legitimacy of the call separately. Monitor your financial accounts. There is no better way to make sure that you are not being scammed without knowing it by checking your bank accounts, checking your credit card statements as often as possible. So try to do it at least 2-3 times per week. Some people even do it daily. Any change in your account is a red flag if you haven't done that change yourself, online or in a shop. So if you see any red flag, if you see something that should not be there, connect with your bank immediately. They can also block your bank account to make sure that no scammers can get to it. Use anti-scam tools. These days, anti-scam and anti-phishing tools can be installed on your computers and on smartphones. So take advantage of that. These tools will help you identify who is calling you, who is connecting with you. And at the same time, it can block potential scam attempts. And then finally, stay informed. Nothing goes above of knowing what is available these days on the market, because yes, AI has a lot of good with it and can help us a lot. But at the same time, you know, there are always bad guys in this world, and they will use these AI tools to scam you, to get money from you, to get personal details from you. So it is important to keep up to date what is going on in this world. And if you are a little bit older, like me, I'm 57, and if you live alone, ask your family members. Ask your nieces and nephews or your children and grandchildren. They will probably know what is now going on the market, and they will also be able to help you. Well, I think I have given you some amazing tools, but if you know of any other tools, feel free to share them here in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading them. And other than that, I will see you again in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me here in this community. It really is amazing to know that just by making these videos, we can build a community that supports each other and helps each other and is there for each other. So thank you again. I'll see you in a few days. Bye.